At Davos 2026, Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei said something that broke the internet. He said, and I quote, "We might be 6 to 12 months away from models doing all of what software engineers do, end-to-end." On a stage at the World Economic Forum, with Demis Hassabis of Google DeepMind sitting next to him. The tech world had one reaction: sure, Dario, sounds like hype. But then Anthropic shipped a product demo the same week. And if you watch it, it is not hype. Claude found a critical security vulnerability in a codebase, wrote the fix, committed it to a branch, and opened a pull request. Zero humans in the loop. Today we break down what actually happened, what it means, and whether developers should be updating their resumes. Let me set the scene. Davos, January 2026. World Economic Forum Annual Meeting. The most exclusive conference on Earth where the people who run the global economy come to discuss the future. On stage, Zani Minton-Beddoes, editor-in-chief of The Economist, moderating. Dario Amodei, CEO of Anthropic, the company behind Claude. And Demis Hassabis, CEO of Google DeepMind, the team that built Gemini. Two of the most powerful AI CEOs in the world on the same stage. And what did they agree on? That AI is months away from replacing software engineers end-to-end. This is not one CEO talking their book. This is the consensus of the entire frontier AI industry, stated publicly, at Davos, in front of global leaders. When the CEOs of both Anthropic and Google DeepMind say the same thing in the same room, you should probably listen. Here is the actual clip from the WEF panel. Watch his body language. This is not a throwaway comment. This is a deliberate, specific prediction from someone who has direct insight into what these models can already do in internal testing. 6 to 12 months. End to end. Everything a software engineer does. Now here is what most people missed. The same week Dario said that at Davos, Anthropic published a product demo called Claude Code Security. And it is exactly what he was describing. Watch what it does. Claude is given access to a GitHub repository called acmecorp/hook relay. It scans the entire codebase the way a human security researcher would, not pattern matching, not rules, but actually reading and reasoning about how the code works. And it finds something. A critical severity vulnerability, shell command injection via webhook payload. In the file app/services/notifiers/scriptrunner.py, line 21. Claude then writes a targeted patch. 4 line insertions, 4 deletions. Commits it to a new branch. And posts, a patch is ready for your review. Create PR button. Done. No ticket. No Jira. No code review meeting. No human wrote a single line. That is the demo. That is what Dario was talking about. So what is actually happening under the hood? Traditional security scanning tools, Snyk, SonarQube, Semgrep, are rule-based. They match code against known vulnerability patterns. That works for obvious stuff: exposed passwords, outdated encryption, common injection patterns. But sophisticated attackers do not exploit obvious stuff. They exploit broken business logic, broken access control, context-dependent vulnerabilities that only appear when you understand how the entire system fits together. Claude Code Security does something fundamentally different. It reads your codebase the way a senior security engineer would, understanding how components interact, tracing how data flows through your application, reasoning about edge cases that rule-based tools never even check. And then it does something no human can do at scale: it verifies its own findings. Claude re-examines each result, tries to prove or disprove its own analysis, and filters out false positives before anything reaches a human analyst. The output is not an alert. It is a patch. Let us be direct about what this means for software engineers, because sugarcoating it does not help anyone. The role is changing fast. The question is not whether AI will handle more of what developers currently do. That is already happening. The question is what humans will still be uniquely valuable for. Right now, Anthropic is positioning Claude Code Security as a tool for defenders, security teams with too much to review and not enough people. The research preview is available to enterprise and team customers and open source maintainers. But the trajectory is obvious. Today, AI finds the vulnerability and writes the fix, human approves the PR. In 12 months, AI finds, fixes, tests, deploys, and monitors, human sets policy. The engineers who thrive are the ones who learn to work alongside these systems rather than compete with them. Zoom out for a second. Dario Amodei's 6 to 12 month timeline is not just about code. His full thesis is that AI will soon be capable of doing the work of entire organizations, not just software engineers, but researchers, analysts, strategists. He has described a future he calls the compressed 21st century, where AI accelerates scientific and economic progress so fast that decades of advancement happen in just a few years. And what we saw this week, Claude at Davos and Claude Code Security shipping in the same news cycle, is exactly that compression starting to happen. The CEO predicts it on Monday. The product ships on Friday. That velocity is new. That is the thing to pay attention to. Not any single tool, but the speed at which the predictions are being validated. If you are a company dealing with code security, development velocity, or figuring out how to integrate AI into your engineering workflow, we build these systems. Drop your details in the link in the description and let us talk. Subscribe if you want to track how fast this space moves, because it is moving very fast. Drop a comment. Do you believe Dario's 6 to 12 month timeline, or is it hype? I genuinely want to know what developers think. Next video, we go deeper on Claude Code and what it can do right now today. See you there.